I got 100.
I got 100. Yeah, I'm from New York. I got a.
Yes, he's invited me. I'm going.
Have you decided whether or not you want to attend a game at Madison Square
Well,
Garden?
I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, and I'm also a Jim Dolan fan. He's a nice guy. Okay, he's been a long time wanting to win, and he's a competitive guy, and he's got a team that's amazing. You know, I don't think they've lost a playoff game. Can you imagine that? The answer is.
I tell you that I'm planning to go to a Knicks game. I will be at Game 3. I will be in a very different section of the stadium. And I think we look forward to welcoming any New Yorker who is excited for the Knicks to have that chance to win that championship.
All right, that time for just one.
You know, I can tell you that I'm.
No matter how you feel about the World Cup, here's the facts. Soccer is and will always be the people's game. And with the FIFA World Cup pulling up on all of us, I thought it would be a great time to connect some political dots. Soccer, or football, is a sport with deep working class roots because it requires no expensive gear and is accessible enough to be played on any open patch of dirt or streets. It became a great equalizer and provided opportunities for poor and working class people to feel joy and connection. And unsurprisingly, because of corporate greed and political corruption, soccer became a deeply expensive sport, hindering actual working class people's access to it. The World Cup has and continues to be used by fascist regimes for propaganda. But just like in the past, people see through the lies and smokescreens. FIFA wants nothing more than for you to forget their racism and greed and buy. As you're celebrating, remember to give your time, money, and attention back to our people, like stadium workers, who will be responsible for making all of this happen, many without protections, unions, or bonuses. Check out our COPA page. Working Families Power and Mi Gente Support Committee join forces to build this beautiful campaign for this beautiful game. There is no World Cup without the people of the world.
There's no World Cup. There's no NBA Finals. There's no Super Bowl without the people. Good morning and welcome to Black Press USA's morning show, where we bring you the trending headlines. We bring you the culture, and all eyes on New York tonight. JINEEA.
Well. Good morning. Welcome, Black Press USA. And yes, New York is the place to be, and it's a little nerve-wracking though. I got a lot to say about this one. You'll be happy.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your take because as we saw in the videos, we saw Donald Trump saying that he's coming to the game. Mandami will be there, but Mandami is not the problem. Donald Trump is coming to the game, and now there are no watch parties. He's shutting the city down.
And I think that's my problem. I think that he's absolutely wrong for this one. I'll champion where it's champion, but right here where the fans in New York have propelled this team to the position that they're in. So Donald Trump coming in right now is just not good. Like, it's just, it's wrong. It's selfish because now everybody's got to get there 3 hours before. They've already priced everybody out of the stadium itself, and the real people and the real fans who were okay with standing outside for 3 hours cheering, they no longer get to be outside because all the blocks around New York City are going to be blocked off. But I think this is actually their version of the bringing in the National Guard. I really thought about it, and I think this is how they're actually cleaning the streets and making sure that they don't tear New York up, right? Because now nobody's going to be around. You got the Secret Service and all these extra guards in there. So I think this is their way of saying, well, this is how we're cleaning up the streets and get these people off the streets. Because if not, what are you going to do? But I think that the people are going to be outside anyway, and there's going to be a problem. So I hope nothing bad happens, right, as a result.
Well, we know. I mean, everybody's had an NBA Finals. I don't think the New York supporters are that bad.
We
You know,
last
what
time we won was 1973. I wasn't even alive.
but I mean, I don't think that New Yorkers are savages. I think they're gonna turn up like they do here in
But I'm
LA.
saying just the clash between the Secret Service
Oh, you think
and
they're
the
gonna
fans.
clash?
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, you know, the fans being angry and the Secret Service just not understanding the communication lines, right? You know, the Secret Service thinking they protecting Donald Trump. Somebody does something drunken, stupid. You know, I hope they have that kind of candor when they understand that these are fans wanting to be, you know, excited about
I want to celebrate their team. Yeah.
their New York Knicks.
I mean, I love how, you know, you saw blocks, you know, putting TVs in the street and then the community
Oh, it's
coming
serious.
out and watching the games. I love to see
It
that.
is serious. I'm supposed to go to a watch party tonight with Max B, Remy Ma, and French Montana. So I'm debating whether I want to be down there because it's, you know, it's havoc. And now where people really don't know where they're going to cut off for the president because they're cutting off streets. You can't drive. You can't do all this. And that's what's wrong about it. Like you shouldn't want to be, that's selfish because you should want New York to be able to celebrate their championship how they do without trying to do all this stuff for you. You can't go.
Well, there's a campaign to boo them, and I hope it is successful.
There is a campaign?
There is a campaign to boo Donald Trump at the game tonight. And so I hope that they do it.
See, that takes away from the game itself. You know what I'm saying? That takes away. And that's interesting. But all of those elite people that are there, you know, they, you know, people who can pay $10,000 for a ticket, are they booing Trump? I don't know.
Yeah, he's we'll see what happens. You know, he's such a liar. You know, like you saw the video, I mean the image that came up. It might be Wednesday, it might be tonight, but he said he was coming tonight. Mandami says he's gonna be far away from him. Mandami should be there. That's his city, right?
But Mandami, see, I'm not so sure about him yet because he's got to be in on this too, because, you know, the police have to, you know, outline the perimeters, you know, and how much of this is he in on. So again, because they're nervous, they don't have the police force. Remember, they cut police in New York, right? So they don't have the police force that can really handle this crowd. These people are wild. Okay, they are.
Get it, but let me just say, when Minnesota won, you know, fans react to their home team. I don't think that I'm not. So I mean, I think that you're gonna get the same energy you're gonna get with any other city that wins the championship. And so I don't want to say that, oh my God, New Yorkers are just gonna be out of control. I mean, because in a good way, but that happens when every championship. So
like you said, you see the block parties and you see all this stuff that's going on. You know, this is not like everybody championship. Everybody is outside watching this together. This is crazy.
I love that.
It's a beautiful thing. One thing Fat Joe said that he hasn't seen this kind of camaraderie since 9/11. And I was there 9/11 as well. And I understand that. And, you know, you can't, you know, the Knicks, I just hope this doesn't break things up, you know, and break up there's a 13-game winning streak right now, you know, and so this is kind of a distraction. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to?
I mean, because that's what, you know, somebody who likes to cause mayhem does. When drama does, they just, you know, and it's just like, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just selfish. If there was a word, it would be selfish. The president of the United States should not be trying to go to a basketball game with all of the issues that we have in this country. We have data centers that are causing havoc. We're at war. I mean, there's so many things that Donald Trump could be addressing, and one of them is not a basketball game.
He's just trying to be like Barack. I gotta give it to him. You know,
But
Barack.
Barack never. He's the only
Just recently.
sitting president. But
Yeah,
he's the
sitting.
only sitting president. Okay,
Right, but he
Barack
said
wasn't
Barack.
going to football games and basketball games as the president of the United
Right,
States.
but he still has Secret Service and all that kind of stuff. And it's just then the fact that somebody has tried to kill you on number of occasions. You want to bring that energy
Allegedly, we don't know. But that's
I mean, listen, call it what you want. Either way, you're crazies, right? Somebody is out there doing something, and here now you're going to bring that energy to the basketball. And I know that he's a New Yorker and everything like that, but stay in the suite. Don't try to sit sideline and all that stuff. Let them just fan across your face and everything, because you've taken some energy away from the city, and that's not what you do, because the fans, I think the fans more than this team are winning this series.
Right. And New York is also maybe facing double sports jeopardy as the World Cup starts this week. And one of the World Cup games may also fall on the same day as an NBA Finals, depending on how it goes. So it'll be interesting. But the governor Hochul says that we're prepared for this. Our subways, handle 7 million people per day. So an extra 100,000 people are not going to affect us. That's just numbers pre-COVID. So, I'm excited. It's a big week in sports for everybody. The World Cup hits the United States. And sports, it's so funny. On Sundays, we're so separated. And when you think about church, everybody's here and there. But when sports happen, it brings the country together.
It does. Okay? And a lot of money. Don't forget that part. A lot of money. And so have you been on the trains? Have you been on the trains in New York during rush hour? Girl, you're standing there like this. Look, you're holding the bar like this and will not move. Like you can stand there and the train will be rocking, and there's so many people in there that everybody's holding each other up, just like sardines. So you do not need another 100,000 people on the train. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they're coming because the World Cup is here, or we'll see. Because a lot of people said, or the numbers are not reflecting what these corporations were projecting as it relates to the World Cup. And a lot of that has to do with Donald Trump's stand on immigration and ICE, and saying they're going to be at the arena. So we'll see how this week goes and how the World Cup starts off. But let's stay in New York for a minute, where the reparations fight continues as descendants want direct cash payouts. Take a look at this.
Blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors, my grandparents, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents.
But from the state of New York, what we can see is because of their intricate dealings with slavery, when we talking about Wall Street, we talk about the stock exchange, and those first stocks and bonds being people that were in bondage, right? And in change. And so from New York is uniquely positioned to be one of the states that could, based on its budget, have the funds to actually pay direct cash payments. Most of the states they're not in a position. But in that instance, I think both the state of New York and the federal government, it has to start with direct cash payments.
Financial compensation is really the only way that I think to really get true justice. It's been the greatest impact to our community overall, generationally. And so by policy and finance, it's how it's been institutionalized in the first place. It is the way to repair it.
It's about the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors.
So with that, tensions flared at a recent meeting where advocates and civil rights groups clashed. So the debate is basically centered on whether reparations should be reserved exclusively for descendants of enslaved Americans, often referred to as foundational Black Americans, on whether eligibility should extend to all Black residents impacted by systemic discrimination, including those who migrated to the U.S. That is the big debate. It was a big debate here in California. But I think the difference between the reparations task force in California versus what's happening in New York is that it was a 1,200 page analysis that they came back with here in California. And they said that reparations necessarily doesn't look like a lump payout. It looks like, health care. It looks like, criminal justice reform. And so it's levels. But in New York, y'all saying, give me the loot, give me the loot.
As always, that, but, they're talking about it, but I'm upset with this because Governor Hochul, she had pushed the reparations committee from 2027 to 2029, right? So she's going up for election in this year, right? So she's always using something to get her reelected. And then it's just a committee that they're talking about stuff. And what I'm disappointed at with the reparations is that the reparations are not more, I know it's not on a federal level, but I wish that they were, because I think that we need to collectively think about what we need as a whole. In New York, I'm sure that there's less people that they'll have to give reparations to because New York was a free state, right? So it's like, people were going to New York. So what are they paying them on? And I think that it definitely 100% needs to be foundational Black Americans. I have this fight with my West Indian friends all the time. Like, I think this is a problem. Why are you even trying to step up to this? You got to the country at a certain time that wasn't here. Allow us to do what we're doing. And I think that we're all the same but different people. And I think that it just needs to, our stories are different. Like I argue with my friends all the time, like being a first generation American, being the baby Jesus of your family is something huge that you should want to champion and stuff, and not try to act like you've gone through this Black struggle that we've had here in America for so long, So I fight with this crazy,
Yeah. But I mean, New York did participate in slavery. When you think about the insurance companies, when you think about the banks, I mean, they might not necessarily have had slaves, but they definitely participated in slavery. From that perspective, insurance.
So give me more on that. What do you mean?
So when you talk about the insurance companies, and like there are people that have never received reparations from the banking industries that participated in slavery, or the insurance companies, and so from a corporate standpoint, they did participate in slavery, and just like here in California. There was it. You would think that because we're on the West, but yes, there was slavery happening in California. And so it happened on multiple levels. And I think that's where California is a little more savvy with thinking about it in terms of it's not just, Black folks in chains. It is about the whole ecosystem of how slavery worked.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? From banking to, and like from a healthcare standpoint, when we think about Henrietta Lacks, when we think about the Tuskegee, the campaign with the men in Tuskegee. So it's multiple levels. And so when you think about reparations, it's larger today than just 40 acres and a mule. Although I'll take 40 acres and a mule. Give it to me. I'll take it. But, it has evolved into a conversation of what does reparations look like. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump was just about to give January 6th rioters a slush fund, which was stopped, thank God, for now. But you know what I'm saying? So when you say you can't give reparations to Black folks, it's a lie, because you've done it before and you was just about to do it for convicts.
Right.
So
they're gonna take care of their own. And we should we should definitely think about that. Like I said, I just wish that the conversation was more national at what we want as a whole versus state to state. This state is doing this and this state is doing that, because I think that it will benefit us more to have a national conversation about what we want to do. You know, like when the Indians got theirs, you know, they got those casinos, you know, and they said, look, we're going to go ahead and build this casino lot and we're going to make money. And I think that we need to be thinking more like that.
Well, the problem is that Sheila Jackson Lee, she had HR 40, and it went nowhere in Congress. And so because it went nowhere in Congress, the states picked it up. But Ayanna Pressley, the Congresswoman, she has picked up that bill, HR 40, and she really started putting her foot on the gas, especially when they had the slush fund a couple weeks ago. But we do have a bill. It's HR 40. Right now, it's written. Thankful to our ancestor now, Sheila Jackson Lee out of Texas, Ayanna Pressley has picked it up. And so that conversation is happening simultaneously, but it wasn't moving. And so then that's why states picked it up. And so we'll see. I love the fact that the conversation continues. Even though all of this craziness is going on, the fight for reparations for Black folks is an important conversation. And I love how we are not letting it die. It is alive. So hopefully we'll get that 50 acres and a mule or whatever that looks like. Okay.
50.
We'll see. You know,
we'll take 50, please.
You want 50 instead of 40 acres and a mule?
You said 50.
I said 50.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's 40 acres and a mule.
We'll take 50 for,
we'll take 50 for
20, Alex.
I'll take 50 acres and
or
I'll take 40 acres
and $800,000 like that. That'll work. You know, let us get some land and we need to build out. You know, it's just like, I just think that at this point, with all the stuff going on in America, we have to carve out a place for ourselves and stop trying to live around these folks who don't like us, you know?
Right. So let's get into our next story. Speaking of Donald Trump, he was recently pressed for the growing number of unemployment for Black Americans. And he said there's a lot of jobs coming in factories for Black folks. Take a look at what your partner said.
Unemployment rate has been steady at 4.3%. The Black unemployment rate has been 7.3%. When you ran for president, you courted Black voters and talked about who you described as Black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
Well, we're doing very well with the Black jobs, African-American jobs. I saw some numbers that we're doing really well. But where we're really going to do well is when all these plants are open. You know, we're building many car plants. We're bringing cars back from Germany. We're bringing, we lost the car industry years ago. 54% of the industry went to Germany, Japan, Canada, Mexico. It's all coming back. It's amazing. And where your Black worker is really going to do well is when those factories open. So I think they're going to be great. We've been doing well. It's been a big focus for me.
While the unemployment rate has been
it's been a big focus for him to put us in the factories. Child,
listen.
Talk to me.
I don't got no words. Look.
Listen,
the only fight, I do have a fight. I do have a piece of a fight. So Black jobs, you know how they just was saying, we need these Black seats. Now you can't argue with him if we arguing for Black seats when he's talking about Black jobs. Now, our Black jobs should not be in a factory, right? And so this is why I beg that we become the smartest in the world by 2030. We change our trajectory, because people saying that, I got jobs for you in the factory and this is what we carved out for you over here. And that is insane. And he was, obviously he was caught off guard. Oh, I've been thinking a lot about this. No, you haven't.
Well, no, I think
the first time he said Blacks.
I think that's how he sees us.
I do too.
That's how they see us.
I do too.
It's one step away from slavery. Put us back in the factories. You know, like that's the only thing we're qualified to do.
But there'll be good paying jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that there are good paying jobs that he's talking about. But no, we're way more than that. I think that this is a good pipeline for us to be in because we have to take over an industry. A young lady she was older, but I called her a young lady in Coney Island. She had said to me, she said, JINEEA, listen, your people have to take over an industry, right? She's Chinese got nails, Chinese food, everybody has something that they're majorly overly involved in. And that's, I want to go into AI. But
here's the thing. No, but I mean, we do take over industries. We're in all the industries, and what this administration has done is taken those jobs away. We're in the medical industry. We're in the tech. Well, we're not so much in the tech industry, but we're in every industry there is. We create the culture. We are the culture. Everything that we do, from teaching to doctors to engineers to whatever it is. I mean, one of our people helped create the coronavirus vaccine.
Exactly.
So to say that we need to take over the factory or making car industry is insane. That is our decision to decide where we see ourselves.
No, it is, and that's what I'm saying is that that shouldn't be it. This is not where you should carve out for us. Oh, you guys could be good over there, because he has not dealt with us, and I am very hurt about that. And so I realized that what he's doing, which is wrong as well, what he's doing is he's looking at the people who voted for him, right? So he's taking care of.
He's talking about you.
Well, yeah, I'm taken care of, girlfriend. But he is taking.
You said no, but you said the people that voted for him. So you're talking about. So you guys are taken care of. That's what you're telling us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people that voted for him, meaning the black men, there's 20% of black men. A lot of them were out of prison and things of that nature. Those were his voting block of the community that he's talking about in that sense. Again, look at the black women. Black women overwhelmingly didn't vote for him, right? And then all the black women out of, the United States government got axed and all this kind of stuff. And this is what's wrong about it. Like, regardless of whatever position that you're in, you have to take care of all people, right? When you get elected, it's not just about the people that voted for you. And that's where he is inherently wrong, but I think that's where he's looking at, because I've been looking like really strong and saying, damn, you are really doing this. This is horrifying.
Well, just to note, he said that, the jobs are doing good for Black folks. Black unemployment rose from 6.2% in January of 2025 to 7.6% in 2026.
But that is based on, let me just say, that is based on people that are applying for unemployment and then not applying. So if you haven't been in if you haven't been in unemployment, you fall off of that. So it's not really capturing the number of the unemployed in America, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that are just not working. And that does not include that number.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it's worse than that number.
Very much so.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Let's jump into another story that's trending right now, and that's important for us to be paying attention to. It's the trial of Carmelo Anthony, who is a Black young man accused of stabbing Austin Metcalf, who is white, at a track meet in an affluent Dallas suburb. And so his trial began, and the big issue is there are no Black jurors selected for the trial. Which is problematic, because there were Black jurors that were polled, but they didn't make the jury. So the stabbing happened back in 2025, and witnesses told police the confrontation began when Anthony sat under a tent belonging to Metcalf's team, according to the arrest report. And it reminds me of what happened with Jenna. Do you remember the Jenna 6? And it was all about that tree, and, you know, territorial. But everybody's watching this case, and it brings up the conversation about how important it is for us to participate in jury duty. You know, that's another way that white folks in this country have been able to put Black folks in prison, is because we don't participate in jury duty, and when we do, we're not selected. That's why we have to participate, so that the numbers begin to balance off.
Very good. I think so too. And this case is, you know, he ran underneath this other team's tent. It was raining outside, right? And so he ran under the other team's tent. His team didn't have a tent, and it was like, you know, profusely raining outside. So he runs under the tent, and they tell him, you know, they jump up, you know, punks up to get beat down. They jump up on him and, you know, get out of my tent, get out of my tent. And that's why I can't understand the part where they said that this was premeditated, right? So he premeditated the rain. He premeditated running under their tent, and, you know, and these twins confronting him in this manner, you know. And so, you know, it's just so horrible, again, that in this country that Black lives are looked at as expendable, and that we could just get bullied and we don't do anything about it, and everything is our fault no matter what. You know, we don't know why he had, you know, it was like a pocket knife, right? You know, it was a folded knife. You know, come on, you put that in your bag, you know.
Yeah, so we'll be monitoring this trial and case as it.
So they finished, right? So they're just looking for the jury to deliberate now, right?
No, the trial just started. So you know, the headline is that the trial started last week.
But I think somebody closed their case. Maybe it was somebody.
Well, the trial is still going on.
It's still going.
Yeah, it's still going on, and so we'll continue to monitor that and see how that goes. But most importantly, we encourage you to participate in jury duty when you get your summons. Participate, because that could be a life that you could save. A life that you can save, for sure.
There was 2 Black women that they were, you know, interviewing for jury duty. I mean, for the jury, and they said that they couldn't convict. Sometimes you got to say, yeah, you know, I would convict them, knowing that you're not, you know. Sometimes that you got to just go in there and say, listen, yes, I would convict him if I understood everything is clear. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Another story that continues to trend is Cyrus Carmack, Belton's mother. Well, before we get to the mother, but the case of the young man that was murdered by an Asian man who owned the store for 4 bottles of water. Everybody said it's reminiscent to Trayvon Martin, Latasha Harlan, and his mother is not backing down, and she is trending and slamming the verdict of her son's murderer. Take a look at this.
Nobody can tell me that this is not racially motivated, because I'm not supposed to be on social media anyway. Go and I look at my social media, I have racist people coming to my page, going under my son's pictures, leaving the most horrific things, saying that they're glad he's dead, good riddance, and I am tired. I don't want this to happen to any other child. No Black or brown child should have to go through this. No parent should have to go through this. This has to stop today. And I just learned today that South Carolina, if it's a murder charge, that they cannot bring in any of your prior acts. Rick Chow shot 2 people before. Rick Chow accosted a child in that store and beat her up with a gun on her hip. And none of that information could be brought to light. And I do not think that is fair. And if that is on the law books, that needs to be changed. Because if that was not there, then my son would have gotten justice. And to allow this person to terrorize this neighborhood for 12, 13 years is ridiculous. And it's just showing that it's okay to treat Black and brown people wrong, and it's not. My son loved everybody. He would tell me like, oh, Mom, you're being judgmental. You shouldn't do that. That's against God. And the devil shot him dead, and he laid right there. And we got no justice from South Carolina. It is disgusting, and I don't even know why.
I mean,
I have no words.
It's heartbreaking. And of course, a jury found Rick Child not guilty of murder. And then there's just no justice for her. But I did see they tore that store up.
Did they?
That gas station is closed.
I said, I hope that store does not stay in that community.
The gas station is closed. It is vandalized. And I mean, we shouldn't be vandalizing things, but what it makes, in the words of Marvin Gaye, it makes you want to holler.
Right.
That mother, you could just feel her pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking, what they do to us and how they see us, going all the way back to Donald Trump saying, factory jobs are good for us. It's how they see us. And how they have, so when we say Black Lives Matter, that's what we mean.
Well, in this particular case, this was crazy because they chased them out of the store. Now in New York, once you leave the store, right, you can no longer ask somebody, probably for this reason, you can no longer ask somebody if they stole something once they leave the store. Now the little boy was at he's at the getting his water in the freezer. He's getting the water. They asked him to take off his bag. He took off his bag. They walked around the store. They shouldn't have been in this neighborhood if they felt like this. Then so it was the mother, the son, and the father in the store. And so now he leaves, he takes his bag, he leaves out the store. They start chasing him out the store and they ask him for something. And so the little boy starts running, and you see all of this on camera. He starts running. So now, how does he end up dead? And then they're going to talk about once they got out to a certain point that he turned around and pulled the gun on his son. And so that's why this owner shot it. But this owner did have multiple instances. They had a facial recognition database in the store. You shouldn't have been in this neighborhood, and we've got to stop patronizing.
They're in our neighborhoods totally. They have all the nail shops, they have the hair shops, they have the liquor stores. So they are a part of the fabric of the urban community. You know what I'm saying? And that's what to Orange G said. And I told y'all, stop Asian hate is a myth. Stay out of their stores. Where is the national call for the boycott? I see it online, Orange G. It might not be coming from the NAACP, but the Target boycott did come from the NAACP. And so we just have to do better with recycling Black dollars and show them. I know there was a video, I can't remember if we played it last week or not, of an Asian man talking about, oh, you think you go boycott us? Then stop driving that Honda car and stop, going into this and that. And so a lot of people were like, okay, watch this.
Yeah, Pastor Jamal Bryant had shared, I don't know, I'm assuming that he found that this was a true piece, but it was an Asian man was like, you want to boycott us, then, you're going to stop with your phone. You're going to stop with this. You're going to stop with that. I think that this needs to go down. I think that we need to start boycotting everybody so we can get that Black dollar, because people, once we spend $1 somebody else, we are helping raise someone else's kids and then wondering why we don't have resources for ourselves. So I think that this is apparent. And then especially in this instance, I mean, I'm so hurt behind the fact that these people thought they could chase this man down. Now the owner did 3 years in jail. So he did do 3 years. And I hope that a civil suit, and where's Ben Crump? Because we need you in over here, Dr. Ben. Okay.
And that's up to the family. So if the family decides to
he could go get some money, help them get some money, regardless. Stand on the side, do what you got to do, but jump in like you do and get this family some money for this, because it was horrifying. And it's horrifying that they even let this man go. And
maybe it's a conversation of we should maybe not say boycott, but start saying let's recycle Black dollars more.
I like that.
Let's support our own businesses more. Forget about boycotting. Let's just start spending more money within our own communities and with Black businesses. And maybe it may be that you have to go an extra half a mile to get something that you could get right around the corner, because the Asians own the hair shop. You need to get your hair for your braids. Maybe you got to go the extra mile to the Black owned business, or the gas station. Maybe you got to go the extra quarter mile to go to the Black owned gas station. But we definitely need, and I know that there are directories for Black owned businesses in certain states, but we need a national directory. There might be one. If you know one, drop it in the chat, but we need to start recycling Black dollars. Forget a boycott. Boycotts are good. Don't go back to Target, but let's just start being intentional about how we spend our dollars. So that's the thought. We talked earlier about the World Cup. It is here. It starts this week. But here in LA, roughly 2,000 SoFi Stadium workers overwhelmingly have authorized a strike in time for the FIFA World Cup as it kicks off here in Los Angeles. So Unite Here, Local 11, which represents the stadium's hospitality staff, said 96% of its members voted in favor of the strike. Now, while their demands include higher wages and job security, the main reason for the potential walkout stems from the presence of Immigration and Custom Enforcement. I'm talking about ICE. So SoFi is slated to host 8 matches during the World Cup. The first one starts this Friday, June 12th. And we'll see how that goes if they don't have no workers at SoFi.
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't think that they thought that they were going to do that, right? Because, the U.S. is supposed to be so this and that, and everybody coming to the United States, and again, look at those people. Those people are getting smart about their moves and pushing for freedom amongst themselves. And so we've got to, they are taking a note out of our book and sticking together. And good luck to you guys.
So we'll see. I mean, I think this week will be interesting because there was so much hype built up about this World Cup. They say that hotels are not full like were anticipated. Ticket sales are not what they thought they were going to be. And so it'll be interesting to see what this World Cup is, because I know we're not big soccer watchers as a whole. Black folks aren't. So this is all new for me. I'm like, okay, the World Cup.
Did you get your tickets?
This is a big, I don't want to go.
You was fighting for the tickets.
What ticket? I was fighting for the Olympic ticket.
The Olympics. Oh, my bad. I thought you was trying to get the feet. But
no, but I'm excited. I'm excited for all of the soccer fans. I want to see all the hype. I know here in Inglewood, where SoFi resides, the stadium resides. Inglewood is ran by a Black mayor, Mayor James T. Butts, who happens to be in a huge legal a fight with the owner of SoFi, but that's a whole nother story. But the city has created all types of watch parties on Market Street, which is like the main street with lots of Black-owned businesses. So they're anticipating that hopefully it will bring a boost to the economy in the city of Inglewood. but I'm just not sure that it's gonna live up to the hype. I don't know.
Well, I'll give it. Let me shout out to the soccer players or football, as they may say. When I was in college, we had a trainer that was a soccer coach, and we trained like soccer players for like 2 months. It was so grueling what they do to their bodies to like stay in shape. It was like something else. So I respect the art, the art of the sport, and they're good. The games are good if you watch them. They're
I know that the men are fine. Them Ghana men that got off that plane, baby. Now I will definitely be watching them play.
And hopefully, I guess they're looking to push, soccer in the United States, so we watch it more with all of this, because Messi, and I'm getting to know names, huge names in this. But I think they're hardcore, and their games are tight, and they are good. So good luck, everyone.
Yeah, good luck, and we definitely will be, looking to see what's going on and monitoring if the hype, if it lives up to the hype here in the United States, because I know around the world people are excited. Okay, they'll be watching, just like we'll be watching the NBA Finals tonight. But here's something interesting: a new analysis by Moneyline found that earning more than $100,000 a year is now considered lower middle class in 12 states. So look at the states. You got Massachusetts, New Jersey, Maryland, Hawaii, California. This is all lower middle class now to make $100,000.
I can't believe New York is not on that list.
Right.
Because I guess that's just poor in New York.
Right. Poor. But indeed, to your point, this is lower middle class now. And I live in California, so I guess I'm lower middle class. You know what I'm saying? But this is wild, the times we live in, and it's scary. This is scary.
No, we have to readjust. We cannot sit back and say, okay, that's just what it is, and we're not a part of that. We have to figure out what jobs, because when these college kids are getting out of college, they jump right into a job. When I got out of college, my first job was like $35,000 a year, right? And so these college kids, though, are looking at careers, and then they have family members, they have people that are pulling them up to give them those $100,000 jobs to start, right? They're starting out of college and stuff, and then something that continues to go up, and we have to start looking in that direction, and we've got to pull each other up, and that's why we're going to need to tap into one another and the people that have money in our community. Y'all going to have to give up some of that guap.
Well, let's talk about hip hop and politics. During a recent CNN appearance, Uncle Luke was pissed. And take a look at this and what he had to say about the congressional races that are happening in Florida. Take a look.
That's not one supporting her from the Congressional Black Caucus.
And let me ask you about the Congressional Black Caucus.
People in this district that's supporting her. People hate her.
Because you went pretty hard on the Congressional Black Caucus on a recent podcast. Let me play what you said about the CBC.
In the same way they jumped out there talking about the Republicans who are taking African-American representation, they should be jumping out there with the same conviction with a member of their own party, which is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and going at her the same way that they're going after the Republicans, because you can't be hypocritical in this moment. You can't be like, oh, she's blue, so we can't go after her. No, she's white, and we could go after her.
What do you want to see from the CBC that you're not?
I want to see the CBC stand down, put down on her. I mean, what we say in the community, I want to see them put down.
And let me ask you.
I want to see Hakeem Jeffrey stand up to her. But we know it's a political game, because the CBC feels like if they put down on her, then Hakeem Jeffrey may somehow upset the Dixiecrats that are still in the Democratic Party. Because let's keep in mind, we have not been suffering as a people. Black men have not been sitting at home in elections because we feel so comfortable about the Democratic Party. This is the moment where we make the decision as African Americans. Do we continue supporting status quo within the Democratic Party, or do we stand up? And that's why Broward County is ground zero to that. And I expect this CBC to stand up. I expect Leader Hakeem Jeffrey to stand up to her and say no. And then I expect her white counterparts to say no, because you can't just figure out, Debbie, you can't just go in and you and Jared Moskowitz get in a room and say, Jared, I'm not going to run against you, but I'm not going to run back from I want to see a re-election, but I'm going to go over there into the black district because I know the black candidates don't have as much money as I have because I got $15 million in my pack. I got $33 million in a slush fund, and I can go in there and take their seat. No, Alcee Hastings is rolling over in his grave right now. Rolling over in his grave right now because this is happening right now, but not on my watch, Vic. I'm telling you, she's dealing with a hurricane, a real hurricane, Category 5, and my name is Luther Campbell, and that's the hurricane she's dealing with. Because I'm not going to sit by and allow this woman to come carpetbag into our community and do the exact same thing that the Republicans are doing, and I have a real serious problem with that. Look, if it's head to head, we're gonna do it. If it's not head to head, I mean, we still gonna get it done because I have faith in white, black, Hispanic people in this district, and they're gonna do the right thing. They're gonna look at this re-election woman for what she really is, and they're gonna vote for me.
Luther Campbell, thank you very much for being on the show. Now, we did reach out to Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz for an interview. They did not respond.
Yeah, she's been very quiet while all of this is going on. She's been very quiet, but I am so glad. I mean, he called him out the Dixiecrats. You know, he called her a carpetbagger. And, you know, he's right. He is 100%
like a Republican.
Right. No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's calling him out. Don't be hating. Don't be hating.
He does not sound like a Republican. He didn't say nothing about a Republican.
But yes, he said a lot about a Republican. He said that it just same way that we're calling out the Republicans and doing what they're doing is you got to call this woman out too. And I'm glad. I think Hakeem is on the borderline, you know, and I got a call the other day about Luke, and I'm ready to bring in the fortress for you, Luke, because I got a call from a Republican who's ready to jump on his team and saying, listen, have you heard about this? I really want to help Luke. Let's do, I've been saying this since you and I have gotten together, that we've got to support Luke. And this is how that politics with us should be. It shouldn't be, I'm a Republican, so I can't help my brother, my hip hop brother. I'm on it. Like, let's get him elected. I don't care that he's a Democrat. I don't care. He doesn't understand, politics in the sense of it because he's
if Hegseth can lead the military and be the Secretary of Defense, Uncle Luke can definitely be a Congress member. To me, he's talking more sense than Pete. Okay. And what he's saying is right. The Democratic Party does have internal problems that they need to fix. And I thought that he did an excellent job at articulating what those problems are. Because she said, okay, Mr. White Man, I'm not going to run against you. His name is Jared. I'm going to go over here in the black district because I got 15 million in my pack. That's the problem. That's the issue right there. And I'm glad that he called it out. And like I said, Hakeem Jeffries has not endorsed Wiserman. And it'll be interesting to see if we have some CBC members speak out in support of what Luke is saying, right? Because he has some great points.
I think they need to meet Luke because I think Hakeem, I've been pushing him, too, because it's like you saying that you the hip hop congressman. So now a real hip hop person is stepping up to be a congressman and doing the right things. He's old enough You know, he's learned enough. This is his community, hands down, you know, and people are stepping up. You know, Rick Ross had just did something with him. DJ Khaled. Benjamin Crump just endorsed him. He did something with Ludacris out in Atlanta. So people, he's getting that steam. And again, I think that we should blindly support him, especially when this lady Wasserman Schultz is jumping in. But that's how politics are. You know, they want me to run for office. You know what they said? We've got to find a seat for you. You know, so they, you know, that's what they do. You know, they're looking to say, let's get you in the easiest place, right? And so that was easy for her, like a no-brainer. The Black people don't pay attention. I've got enough money to, you know, make it look good, and I'm gonna go in here and overpower this amateur. And Luke is saying, "Oh hell no!" I love the fact that he said that he's a hurricane and all that.
Right.
Luke, okay.
I mean, he has all the wordplay. The wordplay was playing in that conversation.
I'm excited for him, and I'm definitely going to join his team.
Yeah, and I think that Hakeem Jeffries, to the point of being the hip hop congressman and all of that, and he loves to quote Biggie, lines and things like that. He's going to have to do more than just stay silent. Not endorsing her, not endorsing her. That's good, but we need you to do a little more. We need you to say something.
Yeah, and I think they just don't know what to say yet, because again, you know, they need the seat, right? And so they've got to look at, you know, they don't want to lose the seat to a Republican playing around. But I think that, listen, Luke is the guy, you know, Luke is the guy. He's my guy. I was going to go to Byron Donalds about him, but I've got to see who's, you know, running on the Republican ticket, because I think that they should just team up, because somebody has to represent Black Florida. You know what I'm saying? Byron, he's running around, you know, in all these white districts. I haven't seen him in one Black area. And it's like, we push all these Republicans out and don't give the Republicans a chance to talk with us, and then wonder why they don't have an agenda for us. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to come see us too. And we've got to allow him to come in. We don't want any. But then when they win, you said you didn't want any.
Right. 100%. 100%. So let's get into our last story, which is a joyful story. Kamira Johnson, a high school senior from Seattle, has been revealed as the 2025-26 Doodle for Google, a national winner. And she made that. Well, Google made the announcement, and she did an exclusive interview with the Today Show. Take a look at this.
Prompt was, my superpower is. What inspired you to claim your hair as your superpower?
Okay, a lot of things. Just being Black, growing up with a lot of pride in my hair. I'd say the biggest inspiration, however, is my mom. When I was a little kid, I'd go to preschool, and every single week I would have a new hairstyle, whether it's braids, Afro puffs, etc. And she just really taught me to love my hair and love my culture and who I am.
She gave you self-confidence.
For sure.
Yeah. Love the hair. Love the whole look, by the way. We're just coming back to
Thank you.
the studio, we're like, wow, you are so much cooler than we are. Thanks for coming in from Seattle. You know, it's, for folks who don't know, in addition to just being an honor, you get a $55,000 college scholarship too. That's a big deal. Mom's over in the corner. She's like, yes, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Have you decided where you're going to school yet?
Yeah, so I'm going to NYU. It's been my dream school since I was maybe 11. So really excited.
You're coming here to New York?
I'm coming here to New York.
That's a big deal too.
Thank you.
What are you going to study? Let me guess. Art.
How'd you know?
Any specific part of art? Or?
So I'm doing studio art, so I could do like painting, drawing, film, everything. It's multidisciplinary. And then along with that, I'm double majoring in economics. So art side, money side, business side.
Smart young lady.
Thank you.
Art can elicit so many feelings and emotions. So when people see your artwork, what do you want?
I think the dream with everything that I make, and especially for work that I make that's centered around my culture, is for a little Black girl who was once like me to look at this and feel inspired. Or really for anybody to look at this and feel inspired to live in their own skin, express themselves, and be who they are.
So the prompt was, my superpower is.
Yeah, so that was a great interview. And Black Joy, you know, everything we talked about, all the brutal hits we're taking. I mean, and yet we rise, you know, and here you have this young Black girl from Seattle who is the doodler. So when we go to Google, guess what? We're still going to see ourselves in spite of what they're trying to take from us.
Congratulations, young lady. I love seeing that energy, that has that innocent energy that hasn't been tainted yet, right? And I hope that, you know, she just keeps on rising to the top, young lady. Keep going, keep dreaming. You know, that's amazing. And shout out to Google for, you know, picking that amazing story.
Yeah, and then that scholarship she got as well, you know. So
And
all the best to her.
welcome to New York, little miss.
Yeah, so lots of excitement happening in all eyes on New York today, for sure. 100%. Before we get out of here, we know our country is celebrating 250 years, but it's nothing without the Black experience. So on this day in 1967, President Lyndon B. Johnson nominated Thurgood Marshall for the Supreme Court Justice of the United States. And we know that was very instrumental into a lot of things that the progression of Black folks in this country and representation. That's why representation matters. I'm not sure you could compare that to Clarence Thomas, but today we remember Thurgood Marshall. Any closing thoughts, JINEEA?
No, I just think that, you know, we need to work on being the smartest in this country. Work on.
We are.
You know,
we are. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, I'm talking about on paper with young kids, you know, that are dropping out of school and things of that nature. We have to refocus them and make sure that they're able to carry the torch. When we talking about Thurgood Marshall getting elected, we need to now push back and continue. I just realized that the fight doesn't stop. You know, we fought for so long, so hard, but we got to keep on fighting and keep on walking and keep on thriving. We're going to do it. We're going to get there.
Right, 100%. All right, Chad, thanks for chiming in with all of your comments. Y'all talk to each other. Y'all talk to us. We truly appreciate you. Don't forget to pick up your latest edition of your Black newspaper in your city or community. There's one in every town. And for the latest in Black news, you can visit blackpressusa.com. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Send to the Senate this afternoon the nomination of Mr. Thurgood Marshall, Solicitor General, to the position of Associate Justice Supreme Court, made vacant by the resignation of Justice Tom C. Clark of Texas.
Thus, the highest court in the land, with the vacancy owing to the stepping down of Justice Clark, has named to its august